Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation. Shalom, shalom, Yasharal and Yahuda. Grafted in Gentiles into the body of Mashiach. Yahuwah is establishing his kingdom for a remnant. Yahuwah is establishing a kingdom for only a remnant. Only those who have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach is going into his kingdom. Because there's no Yeshua in any other name than the name that has been given to Yahushua HaMashiach, which is above all names. Yeshua comes, the kingdom comes in you by the Ruach HaKodesh and having received the witness of Yahushua. You have to have the witness in order to be a part of the kingdom. Hebrews. Yahuwah, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, I give you praise for the word that you gave Yahushua, the word that he gave to the apostles, the word that they recorded, Yahuwah, and they've given to us. I've received them in Emunah. I've received them in Emunah. I've received the witness. And because I did, you gave me the Ruach HaKodesh. Because I've asked and you've given it to me. Yahuwah, I pray that the words that you give to me to give to them would quicken, establish those that are of the remnant, those that you have called and chosen. Yahushua said, those that you have given me, I have not lost the one. Yahuwah, you told us in the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, the righteous selected from a righteous plant, called us to deliver this witness in order to gather your people. Yahuwah, this is what I'm doing. In obedience, line upon line, precept upon precept, Yahuwah. I pray that you will take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. I pray, Yahuwah, that you would take the dominion, the preeminence. I yield myself as an instrument of righteousness, Yahuwah. I yield myself as an instrument of righteousness. Use me, Yahuwah, according to your good pleasure. I have the pleasure of having your Ruach HaKodesh, you and Yahushua in me. Yahuwah, I have the Ruach HaKodesh that has established me as yours. Beloved, now are we the sons of Elohiym. It doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Yahuwah, I thank you. Yahuwah, help me to do what you need to have done before the gathering of your people. Yahuwah, to those who have to be sealed. Yahuwah, I pray in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. Yahuwah, I believe your word. Allow me not to cause anyone to be turned out of the way, to come up lame or to come up to stumble. Yahuwah, I trust in the Ruach HaKodesh in this hour that you will give me what to say. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, I submit to you. Yahuwah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, we're listening to Hezekiah. Song is entitled A Remnant. I don't own the rights to this music. Listen, only a remnant of the people of Yahuwah are going to be saved, are going to experience Yeshua, are going to be able to gain access into his kingdom. Only a remnant, right? So in order to receive entrance into the kingdom, you have to receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Because the kingdom has been waiting for the manifestations of the sons of Elohiym. It's been waiting for Yahuwah by Yahusha HaMashiach's witness to establish sons and daughters in the Eretz. Right? Listen. Listen. We are in Hebrews, right? We're in the book of Hebrews, right? We're in the book of Hebrews. We're studying, or actually we're allowing the Ruach HaKodesh to reveal how Yahusha HaMashiach was established in the original covenant and the fulfillment as Mashiach Yahusha in the renewed covenant, right? Listen. We have to understand that Yahuwah has a plan to establish his kingdom, right? What am I looking for? Yeah, Romans 8 and 22. Right? Yahuwah's kingdom is going to be established in the earth. Yahusha is the king of the tribe of Yehuda that is going to sit on the throne, right? His scepter, right? His place, his position, his authority was greater than that of the Malachim, right? Because next to Yahusha, the only other created thing, or the other created anything that had Ruach, that had power and authority, was the Malachim. Yahusha is greater than the Malachim. Yahusha's kingdom, Yahusha's scepter, right? His authority, right? His tribe, his staff, his people, right? That authority is in him. It rests in him. And the mystery of the kingdom is his Yeshua and the establishing of his kingdom from the foundation of the earth that was surrendered to Adam and Havah, that has been reestablished in Yahushua Mashiach. Right? Listen. Paul says it in this way in Romans, right? Right? He says it in Romans 8, right? There is therefore now no condemnation to them that are in Hamashiach, who walk not after the flesh, but in the Ruach HaKodesh. There's no condemnation, right? There's no condemnation of sin, right? Because first of all, we have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, right? And then having received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, we walk, right? We are led by the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Because we don't walk after our carnal nature. We don't rely exclusively on our nefesh, our soul, our emotions, our way of thinking, right? We walk after the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah said, listen. We walk after the Ruach HaKodesh. This is why we are established in the kingdom of Yahuwah Elohiym, because we've received the witness and we obey his commandments. He says, for the Torah of the Ruach HaKodesh of the life in Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahusha, has made us free from the law of sin and of death. So the Torah, right, the Besorah of truth, the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh in Yahusha HaMashiach, right, has made us free from the condemnation that comes from sin because it has been removed in Yahusha HaMashiach, right? And because it's been removed and we have been established in the witness in the Ruach HaKodesh, it therefore has no power over us. Sin and death does not have dominion over us. We recognize that death in and of itself, Yahusha has gained victory over. Yahusha gained victory over death, right? Yahusha got the victory over death, right? Right? Yahusha has established a pathway into the kingdom of Yahuwah through him, his witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, the water, and the blood. These three are one. These three have to be a part of your life because they agree in order to be established in his kingdom, right? In order to be established in his kingdom. Now listen, right? For what the law could not do in that it was weak through the flesh, right? It was weak through the flesh. The flesh in of itself without the Ruach HaKodesh, right, could not withstand or could not consistently, right, walk in agreement with the Torah, right, because it was flesh, right? For what the law could not do because it was weak through the flesh, it wasn't that the law was weak, it was our flesh was weak. It was not that the law wasn't righteous. The law has always been righteous. The law has always been right. Yahudim, the law has always been right, but you can't keep it. You ain't going to be established in the law alone because it is weak in the flesh, right? For what the law could not do. The law only identified your wrong, right? And you could not keep it, right? You could not be zealous for the Besorah in the Torah because of your weak flesh, right? It's not until you receive the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach that you are established in righteousness, having received the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, the Ruach HaKodesh, which gives you the capacity to keep the Torah, to keep Yahuwah's laws, to walk in his statutes. Listen. For what the law could not do in that it was weak through the flesh, Elohiym sending Yahusha HaMashiach in the likeness of sinful flesh. He was born of a woman. His seed was Yahuwah. His mother's egg was Mary. They collided and they brought forth Yahusha, not Yosef. Yahuwah. Excuse me. Yahuwah sending his son in the likeness of sinful flesh. Yahusha was born a man. He was born like unto his brethren. He had the same flesh. But Yahusha refused to sin because he was familiar. He understood Torah because it was Torah that brought him to pass. He understood what it meant to keep Torah. Right? He sent his son in the likeness of sinful flesh to condemn sin. He put sin down. He put death down. He put death and sin down, right? Sin was a transgression of the law. Sin prevented mankind from entering to Yahusha's kingdom. Sin kept Adam and Havah, gave them the boot out of the kingdom, along with the loss of the Ruach HaKodesh that caused them to receive, or that caused them to be righteous, right? They live now without this knowledge. They live without they live without this Ruach understanding. They live without it. They did not have it. Right? So it says that the righteousness of the Torah, right, might be fulfilled in us, right? The righteousness of the Torah might be fulfilled in us who do what? Who walk not after the nefesh, the soul, but the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, this says spirit, but it's the Ruach HaKodesh. You got to walk after the Ruach HaKodesh. For as many as are led by the Ruach HaKodesh, these are the sons of Elohiym. You have an obligation, having received the witness, to obey and walk after, to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. This establishes you in the kingdom. And because you have the Ruach HaKodesh, you can keep the law. Because the righteousness of the law, the rightness of doing. Righteousness is having kept the law. Right? Let's go to Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 119. Psalms 119. Yahuwah has me here. We gonna deal with the Hebrews, the 2nd chapter, but Yahuwah has me Psalms 119 and 1, right? Psalms 119 and 1 says, it's the ALEPH. It says, blessed are the undefiled in the way. Those that are undefiled in the way are those who keep Yahuwah's commandments, right? Those that are undefiled in the way are those who have not violated Torah. Those who have not sinned, right? Because sin is a transgression of the law. Transgressing the law puts one in a place of being defiled, right? So blessed are the undefiled in the way, right? Who walk in the Torah of Yahuwah Elohiym. So in order to be undefiled in the way, you have to walk in the Torah of Yahuwah Elohiym, right? He says here in the 8th chapter, the 4th verse, and the righteousness of the law is fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Ruach HaKodesh. Because with the Ruach HaKodesh, we can fulfill the law. We can keep the Torah. We can do what Yahuwah has instructed us to. We can be a part of his kingdom. Listen, if you are in sin, right? If you are under the law, right, without the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, you are lost, because it's already established that the law could not keep you, because through your flesh you were weak. Your nefesh, your mind, your heart, your emotions, right? They have to be made subject to the Ruach HaKodesh, which will cause you, establish you to be obedient in this witness, to be pillars in the kingdom of Yahuwah. You ain't gonna be no pillar without having received the Ruach HaKodesh. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. There's more to the Ruach. The Ruach HaKodesh is so essential that you ain't gonna even be able to do you can't do anything for Yahuwah and Yahusha without it. He says, for to be carnally minded is death. To be carnally minded is to be a mind, right, that is not governed by the Ruach HaKodesh. To be carnally minded is to be absent of the righteousness that comes through faith in Yahusha HaMashiach's witness that establishes you in righteousness. carnal mindedness is a mindedness that is contrary to Yahuwah's laws, statutes, and commandments. Yahusha's word, right? Carnal mindedness will kill you. Will kill you. You have to receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh. There is no Yeshua. There is no salvation without the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. He said to be carnally minded is death, but to be Ruachally minded is life and peace. Because the Ruach, right, is Yahuwah and Yahusha. The Ruach will give you a peace that passes all understanding. It'll keep your heart and mind in Yahusha's Hamashiach. It will keep you in Hamashiach. Listen, you have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Hebrews. The book of Hebrews is to you. Paul is trying to get you to see the correlation between the original covenant and the prophets. And the words what they spoke in reference to Yahusha, and bring you to the place of Hamashiach's witness, having received the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. For Yahuwah in the Shamaim Abba has witnessed to this. Listen, Yahusha, the Word, has witnessed to this. The Ruach HaKodesh has witnessed to this. These three are one. They are in agreement. Listen, the Father, the Son, Yahusha, Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh, you know, were established from the foundations of the earth because Yahuwah said it. In Genesis, the first chapter, it took them to bring forth creation. You have to understand, bro, that Yahushua HaMashiach is the fulfillment of the Torah. Yahusha's witness is the fulfillment of the Torah. If without the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you're lost. You ain't gonna make it. Listen. Right? He says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. Right? They that are after the flesh are concerned about the things of the flesh. You know, how I'm going to eat, how I'm going to sleep, what I'm going to drink, what I'm going to eat. You know, these things that Yahuwah knows that you need. If you have the Ruach HaKodesh, He's going to provide them for you. Right? But if you don't have them, you're going to worry about it. Look, that's why I tell you, when you have the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, He will lead you. Right? He will guide you. He says, listen, for the law of the Spirit of Yahusha, the Ruach HaKodesh of Hamashiach, has made us free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, weak as it was through the flesh, Yahuwah did in sending His own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh. Right? And for sin, He condemned sin in the flesh. But listen, let's go up, because I wanted to get to the first verse. He says, now there is no condemnation for them that walk in Yahushua Mashiach, Mashiach Yahusha, who walk not after the flesh, but the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, you have to understand that you got to walk after the Ruach HaKodesh. To be carnally minded is not to walk after the Ruach HaKodesh. To be carnally minded is hostile. It's contrary. Listen, when you don't receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you rebel. When you're not receiving the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you are in rebellion. Yahuwah is purging the rebellion in the wilderness of Mitzrayim. He is purging the rebels. He says, because the carnal mind is enmity. It's hostile. That word enmity means hostile. I think it means hostile. I'm pretty sure it means hostile. He says, carnally minded, because the carnal mind is enmity, right? That Greek word for enmity, oh man, now it's acting up on me. Okay. The carnal mind is enmity, right? Yeah, I rebuke you, Hasatan, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, because this witness is going to our people. Yeah, you ain't gonna stop this. The Greek word is
Strong's G 2189. Echra.
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 It means to cause enmity. It says enmity, so it uses the word in the definition. So we're going to go to the etymology of that Greek word. The etymology of that Greek word is
Strong's G 2190. Echthras. Echthras.
estras, right? So that word in its etymology means hated, right? Dubious, hateful, hostile, hating, opposing others, right? Hostile one, right? So the devil, who is the most bitter enemy of the divine government, right? Hostile, right? So to be carnal minded is to be hostile towards righteousness, to be hostile towards the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, right? Because in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, there's freedom, right? In the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you free, right? But when you don't want to receive the witness, right, and you want to walk in a Torah and be carnally minded, because the only way for you to be renewed in the spirit of your mind is having received the witness in the Ruach HaKodesh and the Basor and the Torah of truth. Listen, this may hurt some bruise, but understand this. It don't matter how much you read the Torah, right? I'm telling you. It doesn't matter how much you read the Torah. Unless you receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh, unless you receive Yahusha's witness, you're going to come up short. You ain't going to enter into the kingdom. You ain't going to be gathered. Because Yahuwah has pointed to Yahusha. Yahuwah has established the kingdom in Yahusha. The witness is in Yahusha. To be carnally minded is death. But to be spiritually, to have the Ruach HaKodesh, right, influence your mind is life and peace. Listen, without the Ruach HaKodesh's influence over your soul, your nefesh, your mind, listen, you are carnally minded. Right? Yeah, you carnally minded. You gonna get up on the block with all your like-minded brothers, right? Cussing and telling people they this and they ain't that, and you gonna rape their daughters, and they going into perpetual slavery, and you gonna marry a 12-year-old girl, you come on, man, listen. You see, I see, you see, we all see, and all the rest of them acronyms, all them camps. Listen, all them camps. And listen, I want to say something else too, because the Ruach HaKodesh revealed this to me. He said, listen, don't you switch a tribe for a camp. Ooh. If that tribe does not move in the Ruach HaKodesh, all you doing is switching that tribe, switching that camp for a tribe. This is gonna make some people mad. There's only one tribe, the tribe of Yahudah, right? That's in the Americas. You may have other tribes. They trying to say that, there's a bunch of people that are of the Native Americans and all that other stuff. They don't even believe that. Listen. You better understand that the Ruach HaKodesh and the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh is for us to give to Yahudim, to the Yahudim first, and to the other nations. In this dispensation, right? Yahuwah is giving you an opportunity to establish his kingdom in the Eretz. His kingdom unifies, right? Right? You can't switch one thing and change its identity and call it something else and make it an exclusivity. Yahuwah is going to judge that. You better hear the Ruach HaKodesh. You better hear the Ruach HaKodesh in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Don't be carnally minded, right? Be led by the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Because creation is waiting for the manifestation of the kingdom of Elohiym and the sons of Elohiym. They're waiting for us to move into the place that Yahusha has called us to in establishing his kingdom before he gathers us. To be carnally minded is death. You better hear me. You better hear me. Yahuwah says you better listen. You better listen. You can't exchange a carnally minded idea and just change the name. Right? We are of a tribe, collective people. Okay. For to be carnally minded is death, right? Because there's no Ruach witness. There's no conversion. There's no transformation, right? Doesn't matter if you read this Besorah until you blue in the face. Without the Ruach HaKodesh, there is no transformation. And actually, if you read you pray you pray to Yahuwah, and you're reading and disciplined in the Torah, right? It should point the way to Yahusha and his witness, right? It's the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahuwah said he's gonna pour out his Ruach HaKodesh. He's gonna pour out his Ruach. I'm just doing what you tell me to do, you. Just doing what you tell me to do. Just doing what you tell me to do. I'm just doing what you tell me to do. I'm just doing what you tell me to do. He says, what is that? Ezekiel 20. Ezekiel 23. He said, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned amongst the heathen, and which ye have profaned in the midst of them. Right? This is Ezekiel. Right? So the heathens profaned his name. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they profaned his name. We profaned his name first. Right? We didn't receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, the fulfillment of the Torah, right? Kadar, cut it out! Cut it out! Then fulfilled the commandments. I mean, we didn't do it, right? So he says, in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, and the Adonai Eloah, which I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. He has to be sanctified in you before their eyes, Hebrew. He's speaking to you. He's speaking to you who have been awoke, who know that you are the people. He's speaking to you. Right? He's speaking to you. And then he says, for I will take from... Come on! Cut it out! I'm sorry, this dog sometimes, man. He says, I will take them from among the heathen and gather them out of the countries and will bring them to their own land. He ain't bringing us to his own land until he establishes us and sanctifies us in him amongst the heathen. Look, we ain't sanctified in him amongst the heathen as Hebrews now. He has to set he has to set his Ruach Kodesh in us to set apart us in order to be sanctified. Sanctification is the setting apart. He sanctifies us by giving us his Ruach HaKodesh, by us having received the witness. Bruise. This is Ezekiel. Listen. I will take them from among the heathen and gather them out of the countries and bring them to their own land. He says, I will sprinkle them with water upon them and they shall be cleansed. He's doing this now in us who have received the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? From their idols will I cleanse them. Listen, if you still doing these same old things that you did in Christianity, that you came over here into the Hebrew awakening and think that it's all right, you still need to be cleansed from the filthiness of your idols. Hebrew, this is Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel. He says, listen. A new heart will I give you in Yahushua HaMashiach. Listen, you ain't quickened until you receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Your heart ain't new. Listen, you can't even offer up a sacrifice to cleanse yourselves. You don't have a priestly order that can do it for you. You just can't do it on your own. That's why you have to come through Yahushua HaMashiach. That's why there is no other name given unto man, bruised, whereby you must be saved. Hebrew, hear the word of Yahuwah. It's about the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach and you being established in it. Right? You have to understand that your heart is not pure until you receive the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach in the Ruach HaKodesh. Hezekiah says, make my desires pure. He says, I've received your Ruach HaKodesh. You've made my desires pure. Listen, in order to be purified, you have to receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh. In order for you to be cleansed, you have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. In order to have a new heart, you have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't got no new heart, just knowing who you are. Oh, I'm a Hebrew now. I'm awakened. Yeah. I know who I am. Yeah, and that ain't changed your heart. All that did was gave you a mental assent to some knowledge that you were not privy to. Some knowledge that they hid from you, right? But in the knowledge, what you gonna do? Are you gonna do what Yahushua HaMashiach has commanded, right? Are you gonna live the way Yahushua HaMashiach has commanded? Are you going to obey Yahushua HaMashiach's Besorah, his Torah? Are you going to walk in obedience to the word of Yahuwah? Are you going to be established in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach? Are you going to let these signs follow you who believe in his name? Are you going to cast out devils in his name? Are you going to speak with new tongues in his name? Are you going to take up serpents in his name? If you drink any deadly thing, it's not going to harm you in his name? Are you going to lay hands on the sick and they recover? Because that's what Yahuwah is talking about, right? You have to have the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach that cleanses you from all sin. You have to recognize that you need a sacrifice. You ain't got a sacrifice. How are you going to be established in the kingdom of Yahuwah the Lord? You ain't rolling up in no kingdom and ain't had a sacrifice. You haven't even received the sacrifice. Because you can't offer one for yourself. Not Yehuda. You have to be Levi. And they don't know what's going on. They offering up sacrifices. They doing it, but the sacrifice that's going to restore you to the kingdom of Yahuwah and Elohiym is Yahusha's blood. That's why you got to come through him. That's why Ezekiel says it. Ezekiel says it. Listen. Hebrews 1:1. Elohiym, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. Yahusha is speaking to the father Ezekiel. He's speaking to our fathers Ezekiel. He's speaking to our fathers by Ezekiel the prophet. He's speaking to our fathers in Ezekiel, right? By the prophet Ezekiel, right? Right? Haveth in these last days spoken unto us by Yahusha, whom he hath appointed heir over all things. Yahusha has the throne. Yahusha has established the kingdom. Yahuwah has given Yahusha the throne. The scepter shall not depart from Yehuda. Yahuwah gave the throne to the Lion of the tribe of Yehuda, Yahusha. His name is greater than any other name. Yahusha, Yah salvation. He became the propitiation for our sins. He who knew no sin became sin for us, that we might be made the righteousness of Yahuwah in him. Ezekiel. Hebrews, it says, in times past, it's different times and different ways, Yahuwah spoke to the prophets, spoke to our fathers by the prophets. Ezekiel 36 and 26. A new heart will I give unto you. He's speaking of the prophets. And a new Ruach will I put in you. A new Ruach HaKodesh will I put in you. That word, new Ruach, is the Ruach HaKodesh. A new heart. I will put the Ruach HaKodesh within you. Right? Why? Because he sprinkled you with the witness. The water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahusha's blood had to be shed. He was the Lamb of Yahuwah that was slain from the foundations of the earth. He was that which was to restore the kingdom of Yahuwah in the earth. He was that which is come. He has delivered unto us his witness. We who received his witness are now subjects, sons and daughters, with him, joint heirs with him. We have participation in the kingdom. And Ezekiel is telling you this in Ezekiel 36 and 26. He said, I will put my Ruach HaKodesh within you. Excuse me. I will put my Ruach HaKodesh in you, Hebrew. How you going to put his Ruach HaKodesh in you? By sprinkling you with the water, the blood, and giving you the Ruach HaKodesh. Yahusha himself said I will come and live within you. He said, me and the Father will make our abode in you. Right? Listen, Yahusha knew that it was him, the Father, and the Ruach HaKodesh that were going to live in us. These three are one. The Father Abba, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Son, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh. That's the witness in the Shamayim. And the verifiable witness in the Eretz, right? The three are the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. They witness. He says, I will put my Ruach HaKodesh in you and cause you to walk in my statutes. Because you ain't going to walk in my statutes without the Ruach HaKodesh and without the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. It ain't going to be done. He was telling you that in Ezekiel. He was telling you that in Ezekiel. He was telling you that in Ezekiel. And you know, the thing about the awakening is everything has been awakened. Right? Everything is an experiencing awakening. Even creation. Let's go to Romans. Let's go back to Romans. He says, to be carnally minded is hostility towards Yahuwah, for it is not subject to Yahuwah. Neither can it. Listen, you can't be subject to Yahuwah without the Ruach HaKodesh. You don't have the capacity to be subject to the Torah of Yahuah without the Ruach HaKodesh. You don't have the capacity. If you could have done it in the Torah alone, you would have done it. Your ancestors would have done it. Yahuwah knew that you weren't going to be able to do it. But he had to establish a precedence. He had to establish a precedence. He had to establish an understanding of what the kingdom is going to look like. The kingdom that he gave to Adam and Huvah, who surrendered to Hasatan. And when Hasatan took over dominion, he did what he wanted to. He turned it out. So much so that Yahusha and Yahuwah, right, had to lay waste, right, after Noah. And do it again. And still that did not eliminate sin. It just took it back to a level of creation, reestablishment, that we could get a seed, a seed line. Shem. Avraham, Yitzhak, and Jacob. You can't be subject to the Torah. He says, because the carnal mind, let's look at carnal. You know, because you were yet carnal.
Strong's G 4561. Sodix.
Carnal. Flesh. Soft substance. Yeah. No, that's talking about the flesh body, right? The body of man is carnal, right? The use of carnality, the sensual nature of man, right? Sensual nature of man. The depravity, right? The cravings, the animal cravings, the things that incite sin, right? These things, right, denote mere human nature, earthly, natural, right, of man, apart from the divine influence. Hence the reason why Yahuwah said in Ezekiel, I'm going to sanctify my great name, right? And I'm going to do so by sprinkling water upon them, right? I am going to clean them of their filthiness, because the only thing that's going to be able to do that is the blood of my son, who is going to be an eternal sacrifice that is going to be shed, and his blood is going to register on the altar in the Shamayim, and it's going to satisfy my actually vengeance, right, on sinful man. And it's going to establish my witness. And I'm going to give them the Ruach HaKodesh, and they're going to be like me. They're going to have my nature, because me and Yahusha and the Ruach HaKodesh is going to be in them. In the Ruach HaKodesh. See, because I'm going to put my Ruach HaKodesh within you and cause you to walk in my statutes. I'm going to put my Ruach HaKodesh and cause you to walk in my statutes. Hebrew. Hear the word of Yahuwah. Hear the word of Yahuwah. He's got to sanctify his name. Right? And being carnally minded is being hostile. Being carnally minded is being central, right? Being carnally minded is to lean to your human earthly nature apart from divine influence, or apart from the Ruach HaKodesh, right? It's a sensual nature, right? Sensual nature. That's why you can be a Hebrew in a camp and begin to declare that you gonna rape somebody's daughters, you're gonna rape their kids. That's sensual. What? You're gonna be subject to us. We're gonna do whatever we want to do to you now. What? What? No. He gonna root you out, rebel. He gonna root you out. Oh, yeah. He gonna root you. I think that's Ezekiel 20. Let's see if that's Ezekiel 20. That's Ezekiel 20. Where does he say Yahuwah? He says, oh, here it is. Ezekiel 30 and 28. He said, and I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. See, because if you ain't keeping Yahusha's witness, then you're in violation of the Torah. If you're not keeping Yahusha's witness, then you're in violation of the Torah. Right? Because I've already demonstrated in Ezekiel the 36th chapter that came after the 20th chapter, right? How Yahusha is going to put his Ruach HaKodesh in you and cleanse you. And then by doing so, he's going to sanctify his name amongst the heathen, right? You on that block. You lined up in all your purple, right? You ain't sanctifying his name in you. I know I'm making some people mad, but I'd rather have you so angry that you either hot or cold, right? He says, matter of fact, I'm going to go up. It says, as I live, saith Yahuwah, Adonai Yahuwah, Elohiym, surely with the mighty hand and with the stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, I ruled over you. That's what he did. Caused us to go into captivity. He said, and I will bring you out from among the people, and I will gather you out of the countries where when I scattered you, and with the mighty hand will stretch our arm, and with fury pour it out. Yeah, because you know what? Once he sealed us in the Ruach HaKodesh, and he has those which he knows that have received his witness in this dispensation, right? He is going to gather us who he has scattered. Now, listen, you can't read this and say, oh no, he's going to gather us, right, from the lands which he scattered us, without recognizing that he has a plan. He has to sanctify his name in you first. He says, I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and I will plead with you face to face. You're in the wilderness of the people. You're in the wilderness of the people in the lands of your captivity. You in the wilderness of the people now. He said, I will plead with you. I will plead with you. I will plead like as I pled with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim. Hello. The wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, in the midst of the peoples. We in the lands of our captivity, in the midst of the peoples. He says, I will plead with you, saith Yahuwah. Man of Yah, woman of Yahuwah, hear the word of Yahuwah. You must receive the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't gonna make it. You understand? You must receive the witness, Hebrew. You must receive the witness, Gentiles. You must receive the witness. Yahusha is pleading with you. He's begging you. He's saying, listen. I've had this man here who I have called to deliver to you the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, and plead with you to receive the witness, the Ruach HaKodesh, which is going to establish you in the kingdom. He's pleading with you. Somebody's hearing this witness and somebody's receiving it. Yeah. Somebody's hearing it. Somebody's receiving it, right? He says, I pled with your father in the wilderness, in the land of Mitzrayim, and I will plead with you, saith Yahuwah. You need to receive the witness. You need to receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. This is what the witness looks like. It looks like what you see in Acts. This is what the witness looks like. What you said Yahushua did in the Besoros. This is what the witness looks like. Right? You should be led by the witness. Right? Because if you're not, it's carnally minded. Right? You need to lean on the Ruach HaKodesh's witness. Because it's life and peace. It's medicine. He said, listen. And I will cause you to pass under the rod. He's going to discipline you. He's going to number you. Because the shepherd's rod was to discipline and to number. And the rod was also the staff which established your tribe. Right? Not a bunch of individual tribes. I'm talking about the tribe, Yehuda. Yahuwah says, and I will cause you to pass under the rod. Discipline. To be counted. Okay. Listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen to the Ruach HaKodesh. Oh, you don't want to listen? Stroke. Yahuwah. Forgive me. Yahuwah. Praying in the Ruach HaKodesh because I know what to pray. But in my Ruach, I prayed what was unnecessary, and when I did, Yahuwah told me he had this. But I had to pass under the rod. Now that I passed under the rod of correction, I'm numbered. He numbered me. You in. You in. You in. Right? And I will bring you under the bond of the covenant. You are established as my son because you received the witness. And you have the Ruach HaKodesh. And because you're being led by the Ruach HaKodesh. Listen, Yahuwah has done everything up until this point in time to bring me to this place where I'm committed to following the instructions and the leadership of the Ruach HaKodesh, and I'm going to declare the witness. I'm going to declare the witness. I'm going to declare the witness. That's what I'm going to declare the witness. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, you need to have the Ruach HaKodesh Hebrew, because we in Hebrews. And though I love my Gentile brothers, right, I'm dealing in Hebrews, specifically with Hebrews. But it applies to the Gentiles in the fact that they need to understand the witness and what that looks like. Listen, right? So he says, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. See, you're not under the bond of the covenant until you receive the witness. Yahushua Mashiach. Until he sanctified his great name in you. He said, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. Those who rebel against the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach. Those who rebel against the Ruach HaKodesh. Those who rebel against the witness. They transgress. Because you have to come through Yahushua HaMashiach, and if you refuse to come through Yahushua HaMashiach, you're carnally minded and you transgress. Because you got to come through Yahushua HaMashiach. You've seen the witness, you got to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Because if you don't, he's going to purge you. Right? He purged you. Yahushua said, listen, I am divine. What is that? What's that? Yukonon, I got that up. Yukonon said it this way. Again, you already know what you should already know where I'm going. What is that? No. Yukonon. Right? Yukonon 15th chapter. He says, I am divine. Right? I am divine, and he that beareth not fruit is taken away, purged. And every branch that beareth fruit, he is purged. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purges, he prunes, he purges. Right? So they can produce more fruit. Listen, he says in Ezekiel, he says, I will bring you out from among the countries where you're sojourned. Right? Right? I will bring you out from out the country where you sojourn. Right? Right? He says, I will purge out from among you the rebels. Right? Ezekiel now. What Ezekiel's saying, right? But this is what Yahushua Mashiach said, right? Line upon line, precept upon precept. That's what Yahushua Mashiach said, right? Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Now, let's listen to what Enoch says, because, this is, in the Ruach HaKodesh, it's given to me the sevenfold doctrine of creation, right? And this is what he says in verse 12, in the middle of it. Right? He says, during the completion, right, of the 7th week, the righteous shall be selected, chosen. The righteous, chosen. From an everlasting plant. Plant, Hebrew. Plant. Now, if you Hebrew and you respect Enoch, right? Because, Enoch was the 7th. Chinook then began to speak, this is verse 4, began to speak from the CEPHER and said, I have been born in the 7th. I've been born in the 7th in the first week. He was born in the first week, which is the beginning of weeks. He says, during the completion of the 7th week, a righteous shall be selected from the everlasting plan of righteousness. Righteous. Right? Yahusha says, I am the vine and my father is the husbandman. My father is the caretaker of the plant. Right? Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he takes away. Excuse me. It's exactly what he says in Ezekiel. When he says, I will purge out the rebels. I will purge out from among you the rebels. Right? Yukanan. Let's go. Right? Every branch that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. He takes it away. He purges it. He takes it away. Ezekiel 36. He says here, what is it? He says, in Ezekiel 36:33, thus saith Yahuwah Adonai Elohiym, in the day that I have cleansed you from all your iniquities, right? I will also cause you to dwell in the city, and the waste shall be built. Right? Yahuwah, right? Listen. Yahuwah is going to purge the rebels. Only people that are going to remain are those who have received the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Those who are in the vine, he is going to purge. He says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Every branch that beareth fruit, he purges, that it may bring forth much fruit. He says, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of except it abide in me. You got to go through Yahushua Mashiach. You got to remain, continue, and dwell in the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. You got to keep his commandments. He said, bringing forth fruit. And ye are cleansed through the words which I have spoken unto you. You're not cleansed unless you receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. It cleanses you. It causes you to produce fruit. It renews your mind. It establishes you in the witness. Right? He says, I am the vine and my father, I am the vine and ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him should bring forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. Right? If a man abides not in me, if a man or a woman who don't receive the witness of Yahushua Mashiach, who does not remain, continue, and dwell. See, abide means remain, right? That word abide is in the Greek. Let me see if I can get that strong pop. Okay. That word abide in the Greek means
Strong's G 3306 Meno.
Meno. It means to remain. Which would suggest that in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you must continue to allow the Ruach HaKodesh and the Besorah of truth to keep you and establish you in obedience to keeping his commandments, thereby abiding in him, remaining in him. If you don't do that, you ain't going to remain or abide. It means to continue to be, to endure, to last. To endure, to last. You have to endure in the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach until the end. And the end can be your life, or to the end in which you are changed. It's the end, right? But he says, abide in me and I in you, or a branch cannot bear fruit of itself except you abide in the vine. You got to abide in him, Yahushua, right? And without him, for without me, you can do nothing, right? That's why I say without the Ruach HaKodesh, you can't teach me nothing. You can't teach me nothing ruachally. Maybe I should clarify. Because there's a natural knowledge that everybody can present, but it's the ruachal stuff that causes life. Without the Ruach HaKodesh, you can't teach me nothing when it comes to that. And listen, be perfectly honest with you, all I need is the Ruach HaKodesh of truth and the Basora and the Torah of truth, and I'm good. Because he's going to lead me and guide me into all truth. And truth is whatever truth is in any situation and circumstance. You who I didn't even gotten to. He said, John, you got to abide in him. You have to. You have to. Right? Romans. He says, so then they that are of the flesh cannot please Yahuwah. If you who are carnally minded, who have not received the witness of Yahusha, right, and do not have the Ruach HaKodesh, you're carnal. You can't please Yahuwah. So no matter how much Torah you study, no matter how much Hebrew or Greek you study, it don't matter how many doctorates from the cemeteries you get, without the Ruach HaKodesh, it's dung. Paul said, I count these things as dung. Everything that I have received, apart from the revelation and the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, and his revelation of the Torah and the Basora of truth that comes with the Ruach HaKodesh, I count it worthless. Because, see, I'm trying to gain the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua HaMashiach. Yahuwah. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the Ruach HaKodesh, so be that the Ruach HaKodesh dwells in you, right? Now, if any man have not the Ruach HaKodesh, he is none of his. Point blank, period. You don't have the witness of Yahushua HaMashiach, you are none of his. Right? That means the total witness. The Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. Right? You can't just stop at the witness of the water. I've been baptized. I received Yahusha. Have you received the Ruach HaKodesh since you believed? Well, I don't. No, you ain't his yet. Because the three have to agree. You ain't his. Now, if any man have not the Ruach HaKodesh, it says the Ruach HaKodesh of Hamashiach, right? And Yahushua Hamashiach had the Ruach without measure, right? But you ain't going to have the Ruach without measure because he giving you the Ruach, right? He gave you what you need to get the job done in the Ruach HaKodesh. He quickened you, made you alive, right? By the Ruach HaKodesh. You got what you need, right? He says, and if Hamashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Ruach HaKodesh is life because of righteousness. Right? Your body is going to be what it is. Right? It's going to be dead to the old nature. Your old nature has died. You cease to exist in that way, right? Right? Because the Ruach HaKodesh, but the Ruach HaKodesh, right, of truth, but the Ruach HaKodesh of life because of righteousness, right? Because you keep the Torah, Masorah. You bear the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. If the Ruach HaKodesh is in you, you bear the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. Oh yeah, right? He says, right? But if the Ruach HaKodesh of him that raised Yahushua Hamashiach from the dead dwells in you, he that raised up Yahushua Hamashiach from the dead shall quicken, right? Give life, right? To your mortal bodies, right? It will give you life, quicken, make alive. Because you was dead in your trespasses and sin. But now you're alive because of the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Because it was the same Ruach HaKodesh that quickened Yahushua Mashiach. Now, right? Yahushua Mashiach was always alive in the Ruach HaKodesh, right? But when Yahushua died, he had to be made alive. He couldn't just quicken his own self. Yahuwah had to raise him up, right? Now, in Hamashiach, when we've received the witness, we have been quickened, made alive by the Ruach HaKodesh, right? 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 And that's the Ruach HaKodesh that's given to us in the measures that we need to get the job done, but we're going to be changed again in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. And if we die, right, so quicken us again in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. And we're going to be established in the Shamayim. We're going to be established in the kingdom of Yahuwah, right? You're going to quicken us. We're going to be made alive. Your mortal bodies by his Ruach HaKodesh that dwells in you. So he's going to use Ruach HaKodesh that dwells in you to quicken you. Hey, it's what's in Transformer? It's the all spark. You go put that all spark in quick. Listen, these people in these movies, they be knowing what they doing. Yeah, the fallen, right? The fallen, and you got the Autobots and the Decepticons. You got the Malachine, and you got the demons, the devils, the fallen ones. Come on, they know what they doing. Yeah, they telling you, they giving you glimpses of it. Yeah. Okay. Because it's gonna be like that, right? Yeah, because wickedness is gonna be. Look, this wickedness is going to be unleashed on this earth. Wickedness, gross darkness, and the Malachim, right? They gonna come, and they gonna exercise judgment on everything and everybody. It's not sealed with the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay. He said, therefore, we are debtors both of flesh. Now, what I wanted to get to was this verse, right? The kingdom of Yahuwah is in us by the Ruach HaKodesh. Everything has experienced an awakening, right? Every nation, every people have some sort of awakening, right? The right, the left, they even speak in terms of the awakening, right? And how the awakening is a left idea. Because the awakening, they say, is coming into their churches, right? Trying to tell them that they have to agree to these things, right? That are pagan, but they pagan, but You know, I mean, the delusion is great. So they feel that the awakening is a part of the left, right? But they're the righteous, right? Defending this country, God and country, right? Right? Trusting in the Lord, right? To bring the life back to the nation, right? Even creation, right? He says here, for the creature was made subject in vanity, right? Not willingly. Adam and Havah, right? Affected everything when they yielded, when they surrendered the kingdom, its dominion, over to Hasatan. Right? And creation was made subject. See, because in the kingdom of Yahuwah, the Lord, listen, right? Adam and Havah, you know, they tended to everything in creation. And it's not so much that they had to physically do much as be in the midst of its presence. Right? Right? You had lions and tigers. You had predators that weren't predators. Under the kingdom of Yahuwah. That's why when he establishes his kingdom again, there is in his holy mountain, right? Ain't no predators being hostile. In the kingdom that we are going to, ain't no predators coming in and swooping down on us like that. Hence, that's why a baby could stick his hand in the den of an adder. See, but the creation was made subject to this because Adam and Havah surrendered their dominion to Hasatan. They surrendered it. And it says, for the creation was made subject to the vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who made it subject, Adam and Havah. Right? In hope. Because, you know, Yahuwah said, okay, it's all going to be that way. But he said, look, creation, don't worry, because the time is going to come when I'm going to restore it all. I'm going to establish a kingdom, and I'm going to establish a people, and I'm going to establish my dominion. And everything is going to be subject to it in Yahushua HaMashiach. They waited, right? Because the creation itself also shall be delivered from bondage, right? The dominion of Hasatan. Because creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption. Right? Corruption, decay, at the hands of man. Unregenerate, unregenerated, sinful man. Listen, man, they destroy everything. The wicked, the heathen, they destroy everything. They go into the homeland and, you know, they take pictures of shooting giraffes. What? Creation, groaning and travailing. And not just them, but the indigenous people that are there. That don't have regard for, because, you got them, they pilfering, they killing rhinos, and they doing all of that stuff for money. It's because they're corrupt. They don't have the witness. He said, because the creation itself also was delivered into bondage and corruption and the glorious liberty of the children of Yahuwah. Because creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yahuwah. Listen, they know, creation knows that we're waking up. But they know that we're being quickened in the Ruach HaKodesh. Creation knows. Creation knows the transition is upon her. For we know that the whole creation groans and travails and pains together unto now. Creation convulses. It earthquakes. It erupts lava. Birth pains. Right? For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travails in pain together until now. Until now. Until the revelation of Yahusha Mashiach and his sons. They know that the revelation of Yahusha's witness is in those whom he has chosen. And they know that we're establishing his kingdom. Creation knows. They knows that this witness and establishing of this witness is what we do in Yahusha Mashiach. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits. We who have the first fruits. We have the first fruits. Right? Now, they had the first fruits. Well, we have the fruits now. So they were the first ones. Right? But we still benefit from these fruits. But in order for us to do what Yahuwah asks us to do in producing fruit, we must get the witness out. Hebrews, you gotta understand. Yahushua Mashiach is the way. Right? He is the way. And not only we ourselves, but also the first fruits of the Ruach HaKodesh, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to the redemption of the body. We waiting for him to redeem us, to gather us, to collect us back, establishing his kingdom back. That's what we do, right? That's what we receive. That's what we believe. That's what this is about. This is about Yahuwah's people understanding that they are his people and that they are called by his name, right? And in his witness, it's about us establishing his kingdom in order for us to be able to return, right? It's about returning to the kingdom, right? That's what it's about. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, listen. We didn't get into Hebrews, but we did get into Hebrews. Because when you understand Hebrews, is Yahusha's, Paul's constant endeavoring to get his people, Hebrews, to understand where Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahusha, is HaMashiach. Excuse me, and what that means. For Elohiym, who at sundry times in divers manners spake unto the prophets in past times, until our fathers by the prophets, having in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, Yahusha Mashiach, on whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sin, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, he hath by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. Yahusha, Yah salvation, He spoke about it in Ezekiel. Yahuwah, I pray right now in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach that your people will understand how important it is to be established in the witness. Because in order to make it back home, in order to go to Jerusalem, in order to be a part of the remnant, we have to receive the witness. Yahuwah, I'm praying in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach that this word goes forth, and those who have an ear to hear, you have chosen to receive it, that they would accept it and receive it and cleave to it and obey it and stand on it. Yahuwah, in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, I pray that the Ruach HaKodesh will take it and run in the name of Yahusha with it. Those who receive it, take it and run with it. Yahuwah, reaching the brethren, reaching them for the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahuwah, I pray this. I pray healing right now in the name of Yahusha for those who need healing. I pray for deliverance right now for those who need deliverance. I speak a word. I declare you be free now in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. I speak a word. I declare you be healed in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. For he himself bore our sicknesses and carried our diseases, by whose stripes we are healed. We who have authority been given by the Ruach HaKodesh, we shall take authority over principalities and powers. We will operate in dominion, in power, in the kingdom, in the witness. I command every spirit, every force, every power of darkness to be loosed from those who are trying to grasp this witness. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, I say it so. Yahuwah, I thank you for the words that you've given me. I pray that you would receive everything that I do. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer, I give you praise. Man of Yah, one of Yah is all we have. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, until the next time I see you again, stand strong in the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. Walk in the Torah of truth. And understand that you have an obligation to be led by the Ruach HaKodesh. For as many as received him, to them gave he power to be the sons of Elohiym, even them that believe on his name. Listen, Romans. He says in Romans, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Ruach HaKodesh, the things that are the Ruach HaKodesh. He says, for to be carnally minded is death. Don't rely on your own understanding. No, rely on the word of Yahuwah and the Ruach HaKodesh. He says, but to be spiritually minded, Ruach HaKodesh minded, is life and peace. Listen, you got to trust the Ruach HaKodesh. Right? He says, therefore, there's now no condemnation to them that are in Mashiach Yahusha, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. You have to walk after the Spirit every day. Man of Yahweh, that's all I have. I can go on and on. Listen, this witness is real to me. I'm dedicated to getting this Masorah, this Torah of truth out. So, man of Yah, one of y'all called to greatness. One of you who are beautifully and wonderfully made. I gave it all to Yahuwah. And I'm looking for Jerusalem. I'm not forsaking any of it. No. Creation is waiting for the manifestation of us. That I say, shalom, shalom, shalom. Be blessed and walk in the Ruach HaKodesh, thereby experiencing the favor of Yahuwah. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.